Before the first cock crow, when Ndoli Village still slept under a blanket of pale blue dawn, something shifted in the air. It was the kind of quiet that made the palm trees hold their breath and the goats stop chewing. Ndoli had been calm for years, but this morning felt different. At the far edge of the village, beside the old abandoned well that children were forbidden to play near, a soft light pulsed through the fading darkness. It glowed, faint, steady, like a heartbeat. A woman stood alone by the well. No one saw her arrive. No footsteps led to her. No traveler's sack lay beside her. She simply existed, as though the morning mist had taken human shape. Her wrapper was simple, the color of drying clay, but the calabash she carried glimmered with a soft silver glow. When she shifted it in her arms, the light shimmered through the cracks of the lid, dancing against her face. The calabash wasn't glowing from the outside, it was glowing from within. She set it carefully on the stones of the abandoned well, brushing dust away with surprising tenderness, as though greeting an old friend. She whispered something, her lips moving with a practiced familiarity. The wind stirred, but her voice remained too soft to hear. When the first cock crow finally pierced the air, she lifted the calabash, hugged it to her chest, and smiled. Slow, deliberate, and somehow knowing. By the time the sun broke the horizon, she had already walked into Ndoli Village, and nothing would ever be the same. By midday, as if guided by an unseen force, she had claimed a small spot beside the abandoned well and transformed it into a makeshift stall. She spread a clean cloth over a wooden plank, arranged small clay pots neatly, and placed her glowing calabash in the center like a shrine. Villagers approached cautiously at first. Curiosity tugged them closer. "Good morning, Mama," a woman greeted. The stranger smiled, warm and gentle. "Good morning. Would you like to taste something special?" She opened one of the pots. Inside lay fine white salt, so clean, so pure, it sparkled like crushed crystal. Women gasped. Salt was precious in Ndoli, and rarely this perfect. "Here," the stranger said, pinching a bit between her fingers and placing it on a woman's tongue. The woman's eyes widened. "Ah, this one is sweeter than ocean salt." Word traveled quickly. By evening, people began calling her the Salt Woman. Children ran to fetch their mothers, elders shuffled forward with wounded knees, and even the market women who prided themselves on knowing every trader in the region whispered, "Who is she?" She said her name is Manwanyi. From where? She only smiled. The Salt Woman gave free samples. She prayed over each purchase. She helped one man count his money. She blessed a woman's unborn child. And every time she smiled, it lingered a second too long. Every time she looked at someone, her gaze held just a moment too deeply, like she was memorizing their face. But the villagers were too delighted to notice. Her seduction was simple and perfect. Her salt was cheaper, half the price of anyone else's, yet it was finer, cleaner, purer. Even the oldest soup tasted like a feast when sprinkled with it. She praised the tired mothers, encouraged the struggling farmers, blessed the children. "You are stronger than your worries," she told a widower. "You cook with love," she assured a shy young wife. And when she handed over each clay pot, she whispered, "May your home never lack sweetness." People left her stall smiling. Some returned the same day, asking for more. And as the sun set behind the hills of Ndoli, her calabash still glowed faintly beneath its lid, pulsing like the heart of something waking up. But there were tiny things Ndoli didn't notice. Within days, Ndoli changed. Before she arrived, husband and wife arguments spilled into the compound. Farmers complained about poor soil. Children fought over sticks and stones. Elders grumbled about back pain, bad memories, and the past. After the Salt Woman came, arguments faded. Farmers spoke with surprising calm. Children played quietly. Elders smiled at nothing in particular. The village became peaceful. Too peaceful. Then small things began to shift. A little boy forgot to fetch firewood, though he did it every day. A woman who never forgot gossip paused mid-sentence, blinking. A man forgot where he kept his savings, insisting someone moved it. Yet everyone praised the salt woman. Her salt is a blessing. Since she came, even my heart is light. She brought sweetness to Ndoli. Only the wind seemed uneasy, blowing strange patterns across the village at night. Kachi, a 17-year-old drummer known for his restless energy, was the first to notice something was off. Drumming was memory, rhythm, repetition. Every beat was a story, every pattern a reminder. He lived with his widowed mother near the edge of the village. He practiced at night, tapping the skin of his drum under the moonlight. That was when he noticed the salt woman, awake when everyone else slept, walking near the abandoned well, carrying her glowing calabash as though it weighed nothing. His first real suspicion came on his birthday. He walked into the hut smiling, expecting his mother to hug him. She looked at him blankly. "Yes? What is it? Do you need something?" "Mama, it's my birthday." She frowned faintly. "Is it?" Something in Kachi cracked. When he told the villagers, they laughed kindly. "Kachi, you worry too much. Old people forget things. Enjoy the peace this woman brought." Kachi didn't feel peace. He felt dread. Soon the strangeness grew undeniable. The salt woman's salt never ran out. No deliveries, no supplier, yet her pots stayed full. She never bought pepper, vegetables, or fish, yet always had food. Children began forgetting their own names. Kachi heard one boy pause when asked, "Who are you?" Elders who lived on stories forgot legends they'd told for decades. Everyone began repeating the same phrase, "Ah, Ndoli is sweet now." The same tone, the same smile, the same emptiness. Kachi's heartbeat grew louder than his drum. Something terrible was happening, and he was the only one awake enough to see it. One night he made up his mind. Under the pale moonlight, he slipped from his hut and hurried toward the abandoned well. The night was colder than usual. The trees seemed to lean in. Shadows moved strangely. As he approached, he saw her kneeling by the well, the glowing calabash open beside her. The light from inside it bathed her face in eerie silver. She was grinding salt with slow, deliberate motions. Each grain shimmered with soft blue light. Then he heard it. Voices. Faint, overlapping voices, coming from the salt. She whispered, "A memory for sweetness. A memory for peace." Kachi gasped. She froze. Slowly, she turned her head toward the darkness where he hid. He pressed himself against the earth, heart pounding. After a long moment, she rose and carried the calabash into the shadows. Kachi waited until she was gone, then ran home. The next morning, he tried to warn them, but it was already too late. He reached the marketplace before the sun fully rose, shouting, "Stop buying her salt! Something is wrong!" People paused, then burst into laughter. On, Kachi! You again? Every season you find new drama." Elders shook their heads. "This is the most peaceful we've been in years. Why disturb it?" Kachi climbed a stool. "I saw her at the well." The salt glows. It whispers. More laughter. "Look, he's dreaming too much. He should rest." Then the crowd parted. The salt woman approached. Her wrapper rustled like dry leaves. Her glowing calabash rested against her hip. She smiled tenderly. "Kachi," she said softly, "come down. You look troubled." "I'm not your child," he hissed. She offered him a pinch of salt. "Take this. It will cool your mind." "Yes, take it, Kachi," villagers urged. "She's only helping." Kachi slapped her hand away. Gasps erupted. Elders frowned. Mothers shielded their children. His reputation crumbled. "Kachi, you've lost your manners." "Maybe you're the one who needs help." The salt woman's smile stayed, but her eyes darkened. No one believed him, not a single soul. He fled home. "Mama!" His mother turned slowly. Her smile was too wide, too slow. Her eyes were unnaturally calm. "Oh, good afternoon." "Mama, where did you get that salt?" "Oh, the sweet woman in the market. Her salt is wonderful." "Mama, it's me, Kachi." She blinked twice. "Boy, whose child are you?" The words shattered him. "You shouldn't shout at strangers," she murmured. "Stranger." He staggered back and ran out, tears burning. As the sun dipped behind the hills, Ndoli changed completely. Farmers stood in fields, staring blankly at the sky. The village teacher whispered, I cannot read this." Children sat silently in rows. Toddlers stared at walls. The chief sat under the iroko tree, murmuring, What is my name?" Villagers moved slowly, in unison. They turned their heads the same way, stopped at the same time, smiled without cause, and she watched them. The salt woman sat by her stall, her calabash pulsing like a living heart. She stroked its lid gently. Her gaze turned to Kachi. "Only one mind still remembers," she whispered. By dawn, he knew there was only one choice left. He went to the chief's palace. The guards stood smiling emptily. "Kachi, why do you run? Peace is here." The chief sat stiffly, his voice hollow. "We are happy. Why trouble us?" "Happy? Chief, you don't even remember your own name." "Names are heavy," he said. "Peace is light." Then she appeared. The salt woman entered like a drifting cloud. "You fear sweetness, boy?" she asked. "I fear you. Then speak." He did. He accused her of stealing memories, of feeding on the villagers' minds. The chief looked at her. "This woman has brought us peace." Kachi was alone. She stepped closer. "Is peace not what you want, Kachi?" "Peace without memory is death." Memories made them suffer. Look how they smile now. They are not smiling. They are gone. For years this village choked on troubles. I took the burden away. You stole who they are. Her eyes dimmed with sadness. "Do you know who I am?" "A spirit?" No reaction. "A witch?" Nothing. "A demon?" She leaned close, whispering, "No, Kachi. I was one of them." She told him everything. She once lived in Ndoli, widowed young, struggling alone. Her child fell sick. She begged for help. "Tomorrow. Later. I forgot," they told her. Her child died waiting. She buried him with her own hands and went to the abandoned well. She cried until the earth could drink no more. She offered her memories to the well, and the well answered. "Your memories turned into salt?" he whispered. "Salt formed from heartbreak carries power." She lifted the calabash. "Each grain holds a fragment of my forgotten life." "If they forgot my child," she said, voice breaking, "let them forget everything." Kachi whispered, "Your pain is real, but this isn't justice." "What is justice?" she demanded. "Their memories hurt them. I gave them peace. Peace that costs who you are isn't peace." She studied him, really studied him. "Join them," she said softly, lifting glowing salt. "Let go of the weight." "No." Something inside her flickered. What happened next? No one expected. She turned and walked away. Villagers parted around her like grass in the wind. Their empty smiles followed her every step. Kachi trailed behind as she made her way to the river, the same river where her child had died waiting. She lifted the calabash one final time. "Maybe I've punished them enough." She poured the glowing salt into the river. Light spread across the water like a rising sun. Her body cracked with light, shimmering like dissolving sand. She looked at Kachi once, sorrow filling her eyes. Then she dissolved, like a handful of salt thrown into the wind. The glow faded, and Ndoli woke. A farmer gasped. Children cried. Women staggered. Elders clutched their heads. What happened? Where have I been? Why does it feel like a dream? Kachi's mother stood in the doorway. Kachi? She whispered. My son? They embraced, but no one remembered the salt woman. Her stall was gone, the abandoned well was still. It was as though she had never existed. Only the faintest shimmer remained on the riverbank. Kachi walked to the river alone. The water flowed quietly, carrying away the last traces of her magic. He stared at the place where she faded, where she ended, where she was forgotten. Maybe she didn't want revenge, he whispered. Maybe she just wanted them to feel what it means to be forgotten. He walked back to the village, the only living memory of her story. In the end, Ndoli learned a truth deeper than the river and older than the soil beneath their feet. What a community forgets can be more dangerous than what it remembers. Memories carry pain, yes, but also identity, responsibility, and the courage to do better. A village that ignores the cries of the helpless becomes helpless itself. The Salt Woman's tragedy was born not from evil, but from silence, from people who meant well, but acted too late, from promises postponed, from "we forgot." Her warning remains. When a society forgets its duties, someone pays the price. When we bury the past to avoid discomfort, we welcome new wounds. When we ignore suffering, it returns in ways we cannot control. Remembering is not a burden. It is protection. It is power. It is how a community keeps its soul.